Alright. My favorite to least favorite Creepshow anthology stories. I did Creepshow too because I was planning on doing Creepshow, the first Creepshow movie, if you remember it. And I'm going to do it anyway. Sorry. So let's begin. My favorite is They're Creeping Up on You about Upson Pratt. Yeah, Upson Pratt, played by E.G. Marshall. He's a business tycoon, but a real butthole, and he's a germophobic. So he's living in this germ-free apartment, and his place is infected with cockroaches. And later on, the cockroaches, there's like a bunch of those suckers. When the electricity goes out, and there's really a lot of cockroaches in his apartment, and he sees them on his bed, and he dies of a heart attack. But that was my all-time favorite, and I don't know why. I just like it. Okay, number four or number two, the second favorite, The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill, played by Stephen King himself. About this hick farmer, redneckish. I like how Stephen King acts. It's almost like Stephen King can't act in this movie, but he's doing it on purpose. The way he talks. Have you ever seen Creepshow? The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. Hope I got his name right. Jordy Verrill. Sorry. I just like how Stephen King acts in that movie. He sees this big meteor and he touches it and he gets turned into this weed greenish grass like man, and every time he gets touches it with water, his whole body gets covered in all this this like a big weed or whatever. But he was happy to see the meteor because he could have sold it to college and made $200. I'm guessing because he's a farmer and his crops are not growing, or he has to pay a bank loan or whatever. But yeah, I just love it when Stephen King acts. I like Stephen King's acting. I don't know how many people feel about his acting, but I love Stephen King when he acts in movies. His own movies, of course. Well, not his own movies. You know what I mean. Take movies that are based off his books. Okay, number three, Something to Tie You Over. That's my third favorite. It's about this jealous. I don't know if she was a husband or boyfriend. I forget, but it was played by Leslie Nielsen. From the Naked Gun films. And he, at the beginning of the story, he goes to this Harry's apartment, played by Ted Danson, from Cheers, and he buries Harry in the sand on his private beach because he was planning on killing him. Now he forces him to bury himself because he has a gun, and he points it at Harry. Richard points his gun at Harry's to cover him up in the beach sand, and the only thing you can see is his head, so he can get drowned by the beach water. But he tells them there's a way you can get out of this. You got to hold your breath. But that's not going to help you. You're going to die. There's no way you can get out of that beach water. Covered up like that in the sand, just your head. If you can, it would be a miracle. But later on, I forget. Leslie kills his girlfriend, or the one who was sleeping with Ted Danson's character Harry. I forget her name. Her name's actress is Galen Ross, but Becky. Yeah, it was Becky. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I can't remember. Sometimes I can remember stuff. You gotta forgive me. But later on, there's zombies now, creature-like zombies. They go to Richard's apartment. They want him to bury him up in sand and see if he can hold his breath. To see if he can hold his breath, under the water. It's so hilarious. Where Richard, when he sees them, he screams like a girl. Especially when he was going to that other room. He thinks he got away from them by locking the door, or nailing it. No, he locks the door, and he sees them behind. They magically appeared in that other room, and he sees. It's just so hilarious. I miss Leslie Nielsen. He was such a funny man. Number four, The Crate. I do like The Crate. I like it's about this monkeyish monster that's living under this science lab, under the stairs in this crawl space or whatever, under the vents crawl space. And while the janitor he drops his nickel under the crate or the crawl space. He sees the crate and he calls Dexter. And Dexter has this friend who is that? His name Henry. I mean, his wife is played by played by Hal Holbrook. And he cannot stand his wife. His wife just gets on his damn nerves. And throughout the story, he daydreams about killing her. In one scene, while they were at that party, he daydreams shooting her in the head because she was getting on everybody's nerves. If you watched the movie, you saw her character. Everybody was clapping, and he was like, "Thank you, thank you." And then he got back to reality because his wife. That's what I thought. You just played by. What was her name? She did a great job. I'm sorry, she did a great job. Audrey Barberell. Sometimes I can't pronounce these actors' names, so you gotta forgive me. But she did a really good job playing the annoying Wilma or Billy. They called her Billy, but on the Wikipedia and the Internet Movie Database, her real name is Wilma. Later on, he takes Wilma to the lab so the monster's monkey or whatever, so the monster can eat her up, and eventually the monkey does come out, and even though Henry was glad it happened, he was still shocked at seeing that big creature eating her up like that. So, and the last one, number 5, although I do like this, it's just not my all-time favorite. Father's Day. Father's Day is about these rich snobbish family, and the father, one of the rich relatives, the lady was telling the story of how they got rich, and the father, who was a grumpy old asshole, he had this daughter, and his daughter I remember he was waiting for his Father's Day cake. He said, "Where's my Father's Day cake?" What was her character's name? I forget what's her character's name. I forget, but he calls his daughter's name. He calls his daughter by her name, and he says, "You bitch, where's my Father's Day cake? It's Father's Day." I just love it how I thought that was George Kennedy at first. The actor who played him was John Lamore. I really thought that was George Kennedy when I saw this as a child, because he did look like George Kennedy a bit if you ever saw the story. But the daughter kills him by hitting him on the head with a plate or an ashtray, I forget. But years later, when she's old, she goes to visit his grave, and his zombie comes out and kills her. He keeps saying, "Where's my Father's Day cake? It's Father's Day." And he kills the other relatives one by one. And the old lady who was telling the story, he cuts her head off somehow, and he puts it on the cake, and he says, "I got my Father's Day cake. Happy Father's Day for me." Father's Day, I liked it, but it just wasn't my all-time favorite. It was a good story. I liked all the stories, though. But that's it. I can't say it right now, but at the beginning, Stephen King's son Joe King plays little Billy, and his father, played by Tom Holbrook, not Tom Holbrook, Tom Holland, yeah, who was in Night of the Creeps. He plays this kind of abusive father because he didn't like his son reading the Creepshow comics. Creepshow is based off Tales from the Crypt, by the way. And Billy, he seems like a weird kid in a way, having all these zombies, spider toys. Or if you saw the movie, you don't know what I'm talking about. But his dad just slaps him in his face. I always feel bad for the kid, and he throws the comic book away. And Billy wants his father to die. He says, "I hope you rot in hell." And that's when the stories beginning of the movie when he sees the creep in his window. That is such a great scene. I love Creepshow. I like Creepshow 2. Don't watch Creepshow 3. That direct to DVD movie, don't watch it. It's not a good movie. Yeah, that's it. My favorite to least favorite Creepshow stories. Like I said, I like them all. They're creeping up on you. I like them the best. I like that one the best. And then the Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. Jordy Verrill. You know how I am. Sorry. I always fuck up things. And something to tie you over. Always like that. And the Craig and last but not least Father's Day. That's from my favorite to least favorite. Creepshow thriller story. Or anthology story. Whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I'm about to end this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to subscribe to my channel. You don't have to like me. You don't have to respect me. Please subscribe if you want to subscribe to my channel and see more of my videos, or you can just see them anyway. Anyway, that's it. I'm out. But check out, if you haven't seen the first Creepshow, you should. It's a good movie.